And it's like watching water boil.
It's like watching water boil. Oh, did you? Give me 1 second.
Take your time. Make sure it's recording.
Okay.
Are we good? Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming today. Makes me happy to see a lot of people participate. Let me just get my corrective lenses here. Reverend Alex, are you here?
Yes, sir.
My brother, if you would, everybody please stand.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, let us pray. Dear Lord, we gather here tonight, we assemble, and we pray that you will lead us through this meeting with humility and wisdom. Lord, God bless every person that made time to come out here to show their concern and love for our community. I pray that you'll just bless our leaders. Lord, they're divinely appointed. Continue to work through them for your will to be done. As we continue on through this meeting, let us always remember, Lord, that teamwork makes the dream work. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Chapel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Miss Barrow? Here. Mr. Chapel?
Here.
Miss Galbraith?
Here.
Miss Gibson? Miss
Here. Sorry.
Mayor Kelly?
I'm here too. Before we move into our agenda, first item on the on our list is the anybody from items from the audience that you would like to come up to the podium and state your name and address, anything you might want to talk about that's not on the agenda for tonight. Okay, thank you. First item is approval of the minutes from, it'll be the 6th, the 7th, 10th, 11th, and the 17th of July.
First of all, I think we need to strike the 11th.
That's right.
The planning commission meeting.
That's right.
from that.
You're right. Who put those? Okay, never mind.
That's all right.
Straight the ones from the planning commission. I
On the
apologize.
11th, that's right.
I'll make a motion that we approve them as presented.
Second.
Got a first and a second. You call a roll, please.
I'm sorry. Miss Barrow?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Miss Galbraith?
Yes.
Miss Gibson?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
So the first item on the regular agenda tonight was brought to us from Mr. Lynn. We asked last time that he come back in 14 days, and I believe he's here tonight. Since that time, personally, I've been to the property and looked at it, and looked at some of the other decisions that the city council over the past few years have made concerning this particular type of situation. And he has an enormous front yard. Everybody on that block has a really large front yard. So any discussion from the council, that anything you'd like to talk about concerning this? We were on that way last week, and then we found out there was a discrepancy for his
I would
Q&A.
like to have discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I think that this council should consider changing the setback rule for the streets in Parker that have this abnormality. Because I personally would not typically approve a variance to move into a setback. But I do agree that this one is very odd in that it's got a 60-foot setback on a road that none of us feel like should have had that to begin with.
Right.
So I know that that takes a lot of time to change an LDR to do that. So I think my question first to Mr. Sloan is it feasible to go that route? Or would we need to approve a variance to allow him to get going?
Well,
'Cause I'm sure I'm the only
to do an
holdout.
amendment to the LDR to change the setback would probably be 2 months.
Okay.
Now, reading what Mr. Robichaux has sent, that there have been times in the past in the state of Florida, in Bay County, and in Parker, where other councils have gave a variance to citizens. And the one that pops into my mind is the church across the street. They were given a significant variance to put the front part of their church on the easement in front of the building. And looking at Lynn's property, with the exception on the right-hand side where the drainage is, you said you're gonna put a wall there, right?
Right.
My God, his front yard is bigger than some people's lots. It's just huge. It's like a farm. And does anybody else have any thoughts on it?
I also looked at the property, and you're right. He's got a big front yard.
They all do on that street.
I'm glad I'm not mowing it.
That's his job.
I honestly don't see the problem. I think this is something that we put together a list of really going through and looking at LDRs and discrepancies and fixing that
I don't
in
think
the
there's that
long
many
term.
streets in the city that have it.
No.
But
Um,
I don't see a problem doing the variance.
Well, Robichaud pointed out that there is legislation to support case by case variances issued by city councils, states, and governments in the past, and in Parker, where we've been allowed people to have this. So
But you know, you guys all know that I'm very much that person that feels like we should follow the rules, and
Yep.
I believe that rules are set for a reason. My preference would be that we allow him to do what he wants to do, but change the LDR, if you guys are okay with that, in lieu of approving variances.
So it could take 2 months. It could take 3.
But
it
I
could
think
take
that we could
4.
allow him to continue on with the knowledge that we're going to do that. Could we not just allow him to go?
what about
You could
others?
grant a variance if he passes the variance test, certainly.
Well,
We
council,
can't
we're the
allow
elected
him
body.
to pull a permit and allow him to continue on with the knowledge that we're going to alter the LDR?
We could. We could.
How,
Why
how, does
couldn't
that, how does that make sense though? Like,
Well, because I don't know the number specifically off the top of my head that Robichaud stated, and we probably could find that and get him to bring it up to us. Do you have it, sir? I see you back there now. Please come to the podium and tell the council what I know.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
You posted something, and somebody read it to me that you wrote, stating that there have been, you don't have to make an amendment for everybody. You can go property by parcel, parcel by property.
well, that's,
Granting a variance.
For
one
granting a
person
variance.
doesn't necessarily set a
Not for everybody.
I slept last night. I'm sorry, I don't remember that. But
That's scary.
If I may, I think we're not talking about amending the LDR. I think we're talking about changing that right of way from 60 feet to 50.
To 40 or 20 or whatever it needs
And
to
I'm
be.
not sure the LDR is where that occurs.
Okay?
Well, what I was speaking
I'm
of-
suggesting changing the setback
Yeah,
on
setback.
that road that has a bigger right of way.
Right.
So I'm sorry if I misspoke, but that's what I intended to say.
So,
You're not changing the right-of-way itself, because that's typically a platted right-of-way from many years ago, so
Right.
you wouldn't be changing the.
so you're
right-of-way.
adjusting the setback in light of.
That's what I
the-
understood, Ms. Galbraith.
Gotcha.
Correct.
And
To make up the difference from the
Yeah.
50 to the 60.
okay, I'm happy with that. Thanks.
I mean, I don't think we can give him approval without having. How can we give him approval to do it without giving him a variance?
Well, we've done it in the past. I mean, we've allowed people to pull permits.
The church was an example across the street.
Well, they got a variance.
They got they got a variance. I remember that.
Yeah. The fact that you all intend to change the law is static today. So whatever the law says today.
Unless you
is
grant him a
what
variance.
applies, and if you wanna grant him a variance, if you can pass the variance test in your opinion, then that's a different story. You grant him a variance. And again, as Mr. Robichaud kind of sort of pointed out, it's a case by case. In this context, especially where you've got a different right of way than the norm within the city. And you've got the significant size of the lot. I think those two would be factors to be considered. So my recommendation, Mayor, is you still go through the variance test and you grant a variance if that's what you all choose to do. And then if you want to amend the LDR, on top of that, then I can draft up something
But is it
and
amending the
present.
LDR, or are we just changing the setback on that one road and just changing it?
Well, I think the way I understood what Mr. Albrecht said is any roads that have a 60-foot right-of-way.
Or
instead of-
more.
Or more.
I think we have several others that are.
Instead of a 50-foot right-of-way, perhaps look at changing the setbacks on those.
For those
properties.
properties.
Do we know how many we have?
No.
No, that's why I'm saying it might take me a couple of months to figure that out.
So can I make a motion to allow him to proceed with his building permit to put his garage in and change the and work to change the LDR to 60 foot or 50 foot setback instead of 60?
Recognizing
10 foot
you've
versus
gone through
20.
the
I think that'd be good.
variance step. So you're in essence moving to grant him a variance.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as the particular case doesn't encroach on that waterway that is to the right of his property where the drain storm water goes into value.
Doesn't.
Okay.
And do you want me to go through the variance test, or that you've looked at
You've
it?
made a motion, yeah?
I'm making a motion. I think
I'll
we
second
give
it.
the man his permission to build on his property. It's gonna be a beautiful garage.
Did you say that you wanted to make the second?
I did.
We have a motion and a second.
I'm sorry, Stacy. I know.
That's okay. I'll be
But
the
I
solo
think it's
no.
the right
That's all
thing
right.
to do. It's just the right thing to do. And
Not
we-
because I don't want to do it, because I'd rather change the rule.
but
Well, I
we're
think
gonna
she's
change the
gonna
rule.
change the rule as well.
That is gonna get changed,
Yeah.
absolutely, because it's not right. It's, if he's being affected, then there's other people, and we're gonna have more people in the future come up and eventually maybe have the same problem, so we'll fix it, but let's let the man have his garage. That's all I have to say about it.
Madam Clerk, will you call a roll, please?
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Ms. Galbraith?
No.
Ms. Gibson?
Yes.
Mayor Covey?
Yes, absolutely, yes. Good luck, Mr. Lynn. Build a
Thank
pretty
you.
one.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Put it on your tax list, Mr.
I
Sloan.
just wrote it down, yes, ma'am.
One more thing.
you said task list, didn't you? I thought you said the tax list for a second there, so. The council approval for the street resurfacing cost increase. Mr. Summerlin?
Good evening, council. This topic's changed a little bit due to discussions that, we've looked at the proposed timeline of this project, and it's gonna carry over to the next fiscal year also. So I don't think I'm gonna have to have approval for you to approve the cost change, because we won't use all the infrastructure that was budgeted this fiscal year, and we have infrastructure budgeted next fiscal year. So between the 2 years split, when we get the pay requests in, I don't feel that we're gonna exceed this year's budget on that line item. I just wanna bring it to y'all's attention that y'all see the cost change is what it is. So we probably won't do any more paving in next fiscal year due to the fact that some of the money from this next budget is gonna have to cover this paving project.
Okay.
Make sense?
When are we gonna do Lake Drive?
Lake Drive's in this project.
Okay.
But you're gonna the next item is for y'all to approve the recommendation of the vendor, and then,
That's third tonight, isn't it?
right, and then we'll move to notice to proceed, and then that contractor will proceed.
Okay.
And this was already a line item in our infrastructure budget.
Yeah, right now, the budget, currently was budgeted for this fiscal year was $540,000. So I knew it was gonna be short of the 700 that we have to have, but with the way that the 90 days, the contractor's looking at, with the scope, is he's supposed to be 90% complete by the end of October, which that would put us into the next fiscal year. So by the time we start getting the end of the pay requests, it'll be in next year's budget.
Yep.
But if we're taking it out of infrastructure funds, how much did we budget overall for this line item?
Well, like I said, this current year is 540.
Right.
So we will pay the pay requests as they come in out of that 540. But then next year is also budgeted around 540 of the infrastructure money coming in.
So we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.1 million budgeted for.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So like I said, I just wanted y'all to be aware of the cost difference.
Okay, thank you. Would you stay at the podium while I read the next one? It's the council review and approval of the Anchor Engineering Street Resurfacing Project. You guys all have a copy of that package in your packages.
Yeah, Miss Elizabeth would have been here tonight, but she got ill, so.
Is somebody from Anchor here?
No, she was gonna be here, but she called me and she doesn't wanna get anyone sick.
Okay.
Thank you.
She also called me. She said if we did have questions, we could call her and put her on speaker if we need to.
I don't think I said I can pretty much answer if you do have anything.
I guess Tony might. They're recommending the 692, right?
They're recommending the whole thing, the 7.
I'm sorry, it's Robert and Roberts. I'm on the wrong line.
Correct.
Okay, so the Roberts and Roberts is the 794.
And it's my understanding that the additional alternate 130 was to actually repave instead of just resurface.
Correct. What the difference is we put it out to bid because we didn't know how the alternate was going to come in. If it was going to come in extremely ridiculous, then we weren't going to do it. But what the problem is that we put it out to bid to mill boat race. Then we put it out to bid to remove boat race and fix the base, because when we did the core samples, there is no base layer underneath boat race road. So, but we put it out that way because if it came in at a ridiculous price, then we were probably just going to still mill it and leave it as is. But this way here, we're going to we're going to do the same thing we're doing on Lake Drive. We're going to remove boat race, fix the base, and put back a brand new road with shoulders.
Okay.
But also be advised, so everyone here also knows, is boat race is only getting paid from Tyndall Parkway to 11th Street. And then Lance Street is only getting paid from Tyndall Parkway to 11th Street. The remainder part of Lance and the remaining part of boat race will get paved after we get the pond done. We have joining stormwater ponds that's going to go under both those roads, so we don't want to pave it and cut a brand new road.
Okay. Do y'all have any other questions?
I don't. I think, do we vote on this one, Mr. Sloan? We do, don't we?
I have one more question. So this, Roberts and Roberts. Anchor is recommending that bid. How have you worked with them before?
We have.
Are they good with communication? Are there any issues?
They're excellent. They're
Okay.
excellent.
That's all I wanted to
They
know.
have paid for Parker before. We've also used CW before.
Okay.
And like I said, but we have used Roberts and Roberts, and we've not had any communication problems or
Perfect.
They've
workmanship
done a good
problems.
job in the past too.
Okay.
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the bid for Roberts and Roberts
With the alternate? You want
With
the
all,
alternate?
yes.
with the alternate.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Ms. Galbraith?
Yes.
Ms. Gibson?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes. Okay, we're gonna have a second reading. We have to have a public hearing first, though, right? Before we have the second
You
reading?
want to open it?
Yeah, I want to open the floor to anybody that would like to talk about this item 4, which is a public hearing request for a second reading and adoption of ordinance that Mr. Sloan's going to discuss with you momentarily. Did you want to read anything to the public before we?
Well, as I mentioned last time, this ordinance essentially changes the deposit required for a single residential customer
Yes.
from 200 to 300,
Yep.
and that's essentially what it's doing.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any conversation? Okay. Thank you, council.
So you would have a motion to
Yeah, we
read.
need a motion to read and adopt this.
I'll
Read
make a
first.
motion that we have the
Okay.
second reading.
You have a motion?
Second.
Get a second? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Ms. Galbraith?
Yes.
Ms. Gibson?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2023-416, an ordinance of the City of Parker, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Parker. Ordinance number 2010-349 is amending certain provisions of Chapter 82 of the Code of Ordinances relating to utility services, providing for severability, providing a mechanism for the correction of scrivener's errors, providing for the liberal construction of this ordinance, providing for codification and repealer clauses, and providing for an effective date.
I'll make a motion we have the adoption.
Second.
Madam Clerk, you call a roll, please.
Sorry. I wasn't prepared for that.
Well, I was quick. Second reading.
Okay, Ms. Burrow,
Yes.
Mr. Chapel,
Yes.
Ms. Galbraith,
Yes.
Ms. Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes. Good work.
Thank you.
The next
Motion, I'm sorry, was,
is accepted, yeah. Public hearing for the request, oh, I'm sorry. I open the floor again for the second reading. Public hearing to request a second reading for the adoption of ordinance 2023-4417. Mr. Sloan?
Yes, sir. This is a cleanup of chapter 26, the code enforcement ordinance that includes unfit and unsafe structures and associated provisions. This was based upon some issues that have come up over the past year that needed to be addressed, and so I have included those in this proposed amendment.
Very good. Anybody in the audience would like to talk about that? No? Public portion's closed. We're gonna need a first to read.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion, we have the second reading.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Barrow,
Yes.
Mr. Chapel,
Yes.
Ms. Galbraith,
Yes.
Ms. Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
And as you are aware, I had corrected that typo.
And that was the piece of paper he
Yes,
gave you
sir.
today.
I was giving you all earlier, so the typo was corrected. And that is ordinance number 2023-417, an ordinance of the city of Parker, Florida, amending the code of ordinances of the city of Parker, ordinance number 2010-349 as amended, amending certain provisions of chapter 26 of the code of ordinances related to code enforcement and unfit and unsafe structures, including but not limited to procedures therefor, providing for severability, providing a mechanism for the correction of scrivener's errors, providing for the liberal construction of this ordinance, providing for codification and repealer clauses, and providing for an effective date. So need a motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
We have a motion to adopt. Do we have a second? We have a second. Would you call the roll, please, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Barrow,
Yes.
Mr. Chapel,
Yes.
Ms. Galbraith,
Yes.
Ms. Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes. Item 6, Mr. Sloan, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. It's not just for the Donaldson Point boat ramp case, but I have to request an executive session with the council, and I'm doing so in this meeting. It would include not only the case involving the Donaldson Point boat ramp, but it would also include other pending litigation that the city is involved in.
Yes, sir.
So if the council will set a time, I would estimate an hour. I'll have to arrange a court reporter to be
Yes.
present during that executive session. So
If it takes longer, I think it's important that they're all aware of what we have
Yes,
on
sir.
our plate.
yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve an executive session with Mr. Sloan.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Ms. Barrow,
Yes.
Mr. Chapel,
Yes.
Ms. Galbraith,
Yes.
Ms. Gibson.
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you, council.
Will you give me a date?
Yeah, would it, why don't tomorrow, you and the clerk, first thing in the morning, call each council member and find out what will be a good date for them. And as soon as that's done, if you'll let me, I'll be here very early tomorrow like I was today. We need to go to the attorney's office first thing in the morning, ma'am. Okay, very good. The task list, do we have an updated, fresh task list?
It wasn't included in the packet, so.
Right, I didn't know if there was something new that we didn't have. Okay, Mr. Chapel, you have the floor for announcements or anything you'd like to talk about.
Yes, I have two items. One is just to get an idea of what the citizens of Parker think, but I would like to have a contest on what to name the fishing pier. I don't need no motion or nothing like that. I just want to get a feedback on if that's an idea that we should do or just leave it as a Parker fishing pier.
I know at one time in the past, they had the kids at Parker School do a thing where they named stuff, you know, I don't remember what it was, but they named things and then they picked somebody out. Would that be something to consider,
Yeah,
Ron?
that's what I was thinking of.
Rather
Having
than
a
maybe,
contest on
right,
getting a name for it.
Right.
We have no idea really when the pier's gonna get done, but,
it'll be done before the year's over, I'm sure.
I'm sure too.
This year?
But
No, I
Next
don't
year.
next year. Next year.
But if the citizens feel like that's something that they want to try to do, have a contest on naming the pier, I'd just like some feedback saying, yeah, we do, or no, we don't.
Would
The
you like
other
the
thing is-
citizens
is,
to do it or the kids? What are you thinking?
It
This-
don't matter who puts a suggestion in.
Okay.
I think it might be cute for the
would like
kids to do it. Curie
a
McPherson.
reason why.
Perry McPherson, I like that.
Could we reach out to the principal? You're pretty involved with them over there. Couldn't
Talk to
hurt, could
Mr.
it?
Cone, yeah.
And just see what if they'd be interested, and maybe they could draw a picture and put a name on it or something like that. What do you think?
I'll call him tomorrow.
Couldn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
You got till about the middle of October. I think your rails will be up by mid-October.
Yeah, I
Oh
figured
dear.
We're gonna have a ribbon cutting
Yeah.
and sometime, whenever it gets
Yeah.
up to that point. And if we get a date for that, maybe that would be the day to go and name, if the citizens decide to do it.
Okay. I think we'll be able to give you a better date and time after this week's meeting with the state.
Yeah.
As soon as we've had the meeting with the state, then we'll know where the state stands.
Are we thinking about doing a prize? A prize to,
A
for the
year's
winner?
free fishing membership, so you don't have to pay to go on the pier. What do you think?
No, I was gonna donate $100 for the name,
We're gonna need a plaque.
or a plaque.
Yeah, something on it that's attached to it, a bronze plaque or something.
So a plaque and a $100 gift card?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, they'll
I'll
you'll handle it.
I'll take care of it. I'll call Mr. Cone and we'll set it up and we need deadlines and times, so once you know.
We'll know on Thursday, I think, right? Is that the day we meet him?
I think it's tomorrow.
Is it, it's tomorrow, that's right. It is tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll let the clerk know. She can call y'all. What else do you have, Ron?
The other thing is I would like the council to give permission to go ahead and use the community center for a Halloween party on Halloween night. So we could, and I'd like to have them waiver the cost of the rental fee. And this would be a Parker for kids, basically. But if the adults want to dress out, that's fine too. But we'll get it, if the council approves it, we'll get a committee together and have games and trophies and stuff like that for best costume and stuff. But basically what I'm asking for is the waiver of the fee for the use of the building.
Do you have a day? Is it going to be Halloween night?
It's gonna be Halloween night.
Well,
Keep
Halloween-
the kids off the street,
Halloween night is the 31st,
31st,
which
it's a
is the
Tuesday.
fifth Tuesday.
Which is,
Fifth Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday and it's also the
The fifth.
fourth or fifth Tuesday.
fifth
That's going to be a
Tuesday. So
conflict.
we have a
Could
meeting
we do it the night before?
or
Well, I was
Saturday.
trying to keep the kids off the street.
Or cancel, we could cancel the 5th.
Or cancel the 5th too? I don't know.
Treat that night too, from 4 to 6:30.
You have a what?
The VFW is going to do their trunk or treat that night from 4 to 6:30.
Oh, I thought they were doing that Saturday.
No, sir, it's always on 31st.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were going to do it on Saturday.
It's always
Well,
on 31st.
let's look at a different date. What do you think? If they're going to do this, the kids, there's thousands of kids at the VFW last year.
Yeah,
In fact, there were so many they ran out of candy the last couple of years.
yeah. Okay, well,
Maybe do it the Saturday night before
The
Halloween.
28th.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mr. Chappell?
the 28th. Actually, it's the 28th, I got another obligation.
Well, why don't you think on it and give us a date so we can put it out there?
Okay.
And then, do you want Miss Gibson to go over to the school and
Yeah.
see about the name of the
Pier?
pier, and then kind of give them a warm up that we're going to have some kind of a Halloween, because we need to find out if the room is rented or not. Because somebody else might have it if we don't get on it pretty quick. No, it's not
So-
rented that
I've
far.
already
No, because
reserved
it's a
the room,
fifth
but,
Tuesday, we would never rent it out.
Yeah.
Fifth Tuesday.
No, but we'll
Right.
have our fifth Tuesday, but he'd do his in a different time because the
Oh, I
council,
understand, yes.
if we're having fifth Tuesday, the VFWs would be in conflict with us. So that wouldn't work. So, you want to find out and let us know?
I'll let you know.
Okay. That was,
That's
anything
all
else?
I have then.
What you got? Ms. Galbraith, you got the floor.
Okay, I just want to let you guys know that there's a CRA board training coming up in Fort Walton on August the 11th. I printed it out for all of you if you're interested in going. It's from 9 to 1 in the Fort Walton Beach Recreational Center. I do plan to attend.
You gonna go?
Yes, sir. So if you guys don't want to attend, I will just bring information back to you. But it should be covering practical, legal, administrative, and best practices for CRAs.
Can we all ride in the same vehicle? We're not allowed to, are we?
Well, you can, the problem is perception, Mayor.
Yeah, okay. It's just more expensive if it's on a different card.
So I'll pass this out to you guys if you're interested, and
Yep.
and I will also send a link to the city clerk so that she
Yep.
can send it out.
Okay.
It's how you register. And then I would like to request that 3 things be added to next month's or next agenda. I thought we were going to have the grant writing proposal on this agenda, and it was
It's
not
on the next
there.
agenda.
So I'd like to make sure that that's on the next
It's on
agenda.
there.
I'd like to make sure that I would like an update from Tony on the sports complex and on the boat ramp parking. What is our plan for that and where we are? If we could get an update on the next meeting, that'd be great.
Yep.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Barrow? Nothing? I can't hear.
I have nothing.
Oh, okay, ma'am?
So speaking of the sports complex, the Sun Project information, where we've gotten the money for them to look at putting trees in. We are going to be setting up a meeting this week with them, Tony, and the city clerk to go over what they've proposed. And then there's a follow-up meeting in 2 weeks from, I think in 2 weeks from the time that we meet. So we just have to go over everything, and we need to do it with Elizabeth too. So it's basically reviewing the proposal that they put together, and then there's engineering and infrastructure things that need to be looked at and discussed. So nothing is finalized. We're just
But I don't think that any of us have seen any kind of a plan. So if we could just see the plan next meeting.
yeah.
Anything else? Go ahead, sir.
Just so I can be clear, I mean, what plan?
That's my question. What is the plan?
Because as far as my stance right now is we're still waiting on FEMA to approve phase 2. We've called them, it's still tied up at EHP. As soon as they approve that, phase 2 will move forward, which is the stormwater pond and the walking track. But as far as the overall concept,
There's no overall concept. This is to get money for trees specifically.
There's no overall concept plan that y'all have approved yet.
And that's what I'm after. I want to start talking about the overall concept so that we don't get money and then we don't have a plan in place.
Okay.
I don't want us to get money for trees and not know where we're going to put them. So I think we just need to start thinking about it
I'll
before.
send you the designs that they've shot out, and that
You send them to the clerk. That's right.
I will send them to the clerk and get everyone a copy so you can see what they've put together so far. And we'll go from there.
Anything else, Ms. Gibson?
That's it.
All right, Mr.
Oh,
Sloan?
ship day.
How'd it go?
It was amazing. They had over, let me get the numbers real quick. They had over 350 backpacks that were given away.
Great.
They had a total of, I believe, 480 with parents and volunteers. There were over 100 and something volunteers, and they had 24 vendors there, and
Wow.
it was amazing. They also handed out, once they got their stamps of going to the different vendors, they got a basket of food, and then they got their backpacks. And
great.
so the interaction of them getting those resources, I feel, was really important rather
Good
than
job.
just getting the free stuff and
Yep.
not knowing what they had to offer. It was really great.
Fantastic. Anything else, Mr. Sloan?
Nothing.
I've got three little things to go over tonight with the citizens and the council. One, I wanted to let you know that at 14:42 hours today, Chief Patterson and his wife gave birth to an 8-pound, 6-ounce baby boy. They are at Gulf Coast Hospital, and everybody's doing fine. And we're not allowed to see him until tomorrow, and I don't know how long he's staying in hospital today, but it was a regular birth as far as I know. Boy, it's a whopper. 8'6", it's a biggin'. And he looks like his mom, which is probably a good thing. And everybody did well, and I want to let you know that. The second thing is I was approached quite some time ago, and we're getting closer to the time, and they finally worked out all their details. USA Pickleball. I know you've probably never heard of it, but it's a growing thing. And they have asked me to ask the city council if they, I'm going to read the things that they have requested. They have the giant group of people that plays pickleball in the sports complex. We've talked about several things in the last several months, and one of the things we talked about was their possibility of them buying 6 more pickleball courts and attaching them to the pickleball courts that are already there and giving those to the city for their ability to use them. We're not talking about that today, but that's one of the things that they brought to me. The second thing is that they would are interested in having a tournament October the 7th through the 8th or 14th through the 15th, depending on what we decided. And they'd like to know if they can use the tennis courts and then just mark them with a rope to make them smaller so that they could use them for pickleball as well as tennis. And I guess, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what the dimensions are. Can you tell me, Mr. Summerlin? Is it that big of a difference? Is it? So apparently they can do it with rope. So that's what. So that would give them. 8 courts. Is that what would it give them? Yeah. Okay. They would expect 100 to 150 people in their first tournament. Okay. They told me that in most situations when they do these tournaments, the city or the county that donates the property for them to have their court or their event, they make a sizable donation to that city's park or recreation organization for the use of the park during the period of time that they are playing pickleball. So I don't know, the question that I didn't ask was, is that 100 and 150 players plus family, or is that just all together? My instinct tells me that's probably players. These people met with me, they're really crazy serious, like football serious, you know. They want to know if they'd like to know what type of insurance we have when they're playing, because they want to buy their own insurance. And I think that would probably, if we allow this, would be a really good thing to do. And they want to know if they can have a food truck serving refreshments and food on site. And they want to know, would it be okay if they put another set of latrines on site, not just the ones that we have currently, but another set, so that there would be 4 sets of latrines at the area that they were playing in during that 2-day period of time. So, yeah, the little blue and white ones, I'm assuming, I don't know what color they would be, but that's what we've had in the past. And I told her that any expense would be for them, not us. We would not eat any expense. Obviously, they couldn't play in the dark because there's no lights lighting up those courts over there. So I've brought this to you, council, to see what you would like to do. I told her I'd call her back tomorrow. They are a 501c3. These folks are really impressive. When I first heard about pickleball from that lady right there in the audience, I asked her what the devil was pickleball. And now I know a lot about pickleball. And this is it's bigger, it's more popular than any other sport that's played over there. They're over there almost every day whacking that thing around, and they love it. And if they love it, I love it. I think that's what the park is for, to play out there, you know. And they don't vandalize nothing. They don't tear nothing up. They pick it all up when they're done. They're all, I don't know if this is, they're not vandals. They're just all adult professional people that like to play pickleball.
So do we need to make a motion to approve it?
Probably so, ma'am. I feel like we should, because then I could call it tomorrow and say I had the blessing of the council, and then we can firm up the days. I'll let the clerk know, if that's what we're going to do, what days they've decided to pick, and get a copy of their 501c3, which they were finally awarded their document today. I think 150 people playing pickleball for 2 days is well worthy of some good news. So yes, ma'am, we would have to vote on it.
The only thing I would ask is would be people at the dog park.
Golf carts?
The
Dog park.
Where would they park and stuff? Or maybe put signs on it saying that
Maybe.
There's gonna be-
Yeah, well, I don't know, because if you drive around the backside, help me out here, Mr. Solomon, if we route them around the back of the current tennis court and pickleball court, there's a large area you could park back there. Maybe we could put like we did down at Earl Gilbert Park. Mr. Solomon's made signs redirecting the overflow parking to where it's at and where it's going to be. And we could do the same back there, redirecting pickleballers to the back of the sports
if you're
complex.
gonna have more than family, there'll be people wanting to watch too, so.
They might be. Now that they like to bring some chairs. We have a gazebo, don't we? We have a bleacher.
Bleacher spectrum.
A bleacher, yeah. That won't hold many. But is it like tennis? Do you all sit and watch them? But. I mean, it sounds like pong when you watch it, but it's interesting.
Bleachers over there, though.
Put some more bleachers.
Well, it's, right now with the, you wouldn't be able to see through the fence because the fence has got covers
Oh,
on it.
the-
so-
Oh, I see. Well,
Screenage.
we ain't taking that down. We need that on there.
Most of them just are sitting waiting their turn.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to allow the pickleball tournament to occur at whatever dates they choose. I would like to add the caveat though that they have to have event insurance.
They have a what?
Event insurance.
And the,
Yeah. Oh, event insurance.
A
She didn't
second.
call it that, but yeah.
and
Okay.
they
But
indemnify the city.
okay. We'll get with that, Mr. Sloan, and get that squared away. So,
Second.
got a first and a second. Will you call a roll, please?
Miss Barrow,
Yes.
Mr. Chapel,
Yes.
Miss Galbraith.
Yes.
Miss Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Tony, is there any conflict on those dates for you that you know of?
No, nothing I'm aware of.
Mowing or, okay. Okay.
The only thing is that I'm sure they're gonna wanna not have any outsiders come in.
Yeah,
and play.
it'll be closed off while they're there.
Closed off,
Yeah, because it'll be their event. Or, of course, once we close off a tennis court, you can't play tennis there.
yeah.
You know.
Well, I haven't seen nobody out at the tennis court. I go by there every day. And, between the basketball courts and the pickleball courts.
Those pickleballers.
They moved
are
your
the-
tent. They moved your tent again.
Early in the morning when they're playing. That's every morning I see them out there when they're playing.
Hey, Tony, quick question. Is there a way that we could stripe the tennis court for pickleball? So it has the tennis stripes and, no.
You don't have 4 more nets to square it off.
I got you, okay.
Oh, it's that much small.
They're
Okay, yeah.
gonna divide the tennis court into just 2 courts.
Oh,
because
it's
of-
that
because-
small.
Because of the net. You've gotta have 4 individual nets for 4 courts.
I got you, okay. Okay.
Last item I have, a month ago, our city clerk left, and tomorrow our new city clerk starts work. And for the last several weeks, more than the time that she has been gone, Mrs. Purdue has filled in and done the best she could do, and done her duty as in our water department. The the difference between the two salaries in the last 4 weeks was $1,792, not including the state retirement contribution and the insurance contribution paid for each employee that works for the city of Parker. So we saved probably upwards of over $3,000, $1,792 on salary alone. I would like the council's permission to give her a financial incentive as a thank you for doing this for us. I haven't really sat and thought about how much yet. I'm thinking she saved us $1,800 without insurance and without benefits. I'd like to give her at least half of that as an incentive for what she did, and she did above and beyond. And I don't say that very often because I expect people to do what they're paid to do, but she has gone above and beyond, and I'd like your support to give her an award for that financial incentive.
I'll make a motion that we give it to her.
Well, and Mayor, I'd like to make sure the law allows that.
They do. I checked with the auditor already,
Okay.
and she said that there is a way to do it legally, so that it would be taxed on her paycheck. Of course, this is the first time she's hearing of this, and that's why I needed to make sure it happened tonight, because tomorrow she won't be here anymore. And that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to give her not the insurance, not the tax, not the retirement, but I'd like to give her half. And I've talked to Suzanne, and she said we can legally do that, and we have a way to do it.
So you're saying
Well, I think it
900.
can be done financially, but there are rules and regulations around what you can do for bonuses. So, while I have no problem with it, I just would like to make sure that Mr. Sloan makes sure we don't get ourselves in trouble.
Well, but if we ask Mr. Sloan, it'll cost me twice what I'm gonna give her by the time I pay him. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do, but
And
if you
so-
do it and then you don't know that it's okay,
I
then
think
we can
Mr.
get in
Sloan
trouble.
should say, Mayor Kelly, you're right, she's a great helper to me as well, and I'll take care of that for you and let you know tomorrow.
No,
What do you think?
What Mr. Sloan will say is, I will defend the city if it's not right.
There you go. Okay. All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So we have a first from Ms. Galbraith?
Well, I will make the motion that are we giving
Wait,
an amount?
we have one
Half.
motion on the
I'm
floor.
gonna give her half. I'm sorry, we have a motion on the floor.
Okay, sorry.
Half, I'm sorry. Any discussion? I need a second.
Did you put that caveat in there? Did he check it, or you don't care if he checks it?
Oh, I'm sure you check it, I mean.
Okay.
We'll check it.
Anyway.
I'm gonna
Second.
absolutely check it so that no one gets in trouble for
We'll
this.
go ahead and, I make a motion on the contingent, we go ahead and.
Give her
if
the
everything's
incentive.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and give it to her.
Okay.
And Stacy just seconded.
You gonna second it, Stacy?
I did.
Okay. You wanna call the roll, please, Ms. Clerk?
Yes. Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Ms. Galbraith?
Yes.
Ms. Gibson?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that it's not easy being the clerk. It's not. I'm not easy. The people that come here aren't easy, and she has done a wonderful job, and I thank her for everything she did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sorry. Can we wait till next meeting?
I'll talk to them.
Okay. All right.